Hello everyone. Welcome to Amdocs. We are here for the first time in this pandemic event. We are trying to give you a lineup that will help you and share our knowledge in AI and machine learning here physically at Amdocs and around the world. Thank you, Avner and Orit, for organizing this event. So by the end of my talk, I would like to leave you with 3 words. The first one, 5G. So I will speak in more depth later, but I want you to pay attention to the trend right now of having a new paradigm in the communication, where usually we are looking for more connectivity, but this new paradigm allows us much more than that. It's a groundbreaking new technology that will allow us to move forward with other domains like healthcare, finance, e-commerce, IoT, of course. And we want to bring you on board and allow you to enter this new, interesting, and amazing new field. The next one is AI. So we know AI, but the AI right now has reached to new heights where we can do things that we thought that are almost impossible. I will give a short survey of where we are in several topics in AI, and we'll see how AI and 5G converge. So one of the main innovations or changes that 5G introduced is to allow computation and intelligence behind the scenes to run the network. So we need AI, machine learning, to support the new paradigm of communication and to drive it to the next level. And of course, all this fun happens here in the Amdocs, so you are welcome to join in. Again, the AI runs 5G, and we are doing it here at Amdocs, and I will give you some examples of what we are doing here. Okay, so for those who are not familiar with 5G, let me give you a short brief. We know, if the old of us, the elders of us who knows 2G, we paid for what we use, 3G bundles and mobile internet, mobile apps. And today we are in a phase where we consume communication and in voice, text, data in our phones. And the next step is the innovation. How we are going to leverage the increasing capabilities for much more than just the voice, text, and what we know today. So here are some of the groundbreaking achievements that 5G promises to the world. In speed and throughput, we are going to reach data rate of 10 gigabit per second. So this is something that in every aspect you'll see it's at least an order of magnitude more than what we know today. So it's better speed, it's higher speed and throughput. Mobile data capacity is going up, and mobility, we can now, with 5G, we can connect so many endpoints that the current infrastructure cannot handle. So this promises us to allow more devices connected, devices that can be mobile, very fast, and will have service levels that we are currently, you can see availability and performance reliability. This is something that we are not used to, and 5G will allow us better connectivity, higher speed, higher volumes, and mobility. So we're talking about a hierarchy of infrastructure capabilities to store, compute, and leverage the network to slice and dice the services and be more agile to faults and being able to cope with new and changes that we'll see in real life. So we have the edge where we expect to see billions of devices, sensors, mobile phones, you name it, every device that you can think of. So the IoT is here. And computation and AI and machine learning could be on the edge devices. Once we go up, we go to the fog nodes that can aggregate several devices and can have some communication infrastructure that will route between them and close the loop in short distances. And we expect some millions of such infrastructure, such nodes. And above that are the data centers that we know today, the cloud, that we can use now for network functions and communication capabilities to aggregate the data and adapt to the new changes in the routing requirements. So in a nutshell, 5G challenges requires new and advanced routing technologies. And as AI and machine learning practitioners, you can start thinking of where you can fit to such problems. Scaling, we're talking about huge scale, faster data connectivities, more devices, more data, more metadata. So we have data that describes what's going on, probing data. What we do with what are we going to do with all this data? how we are going to handle it, how are we going to leverage it to provide better service at better value. Healing and fault management. We expect to have many faulty connectivity devices, nodes, etc., and we need to adapt and react to that in real time. So the new paradigm allows us to have self-healing mechanisms and to find or predict quality issues and fix them before they occur. So you are already maybe familiar with such applications in IT. This is something new. This is in the network. And of course, resource allocation, deallocation. We have so many resources that we need to allocate and reallocate to provide the services that we are promising, and we need to make sure that we are providing, say, something like tomorrow we will be able to have an hospital procedure or operation between two continents remotely, and you need it to be in real time, very fast, and without faults, without errors, without the communicational disruption. So how do you allocate your resources to support that? And of course, monitoring and control. We are in a phase where human is in the loop, and we want to be able to first understand what is going on in the network, how the network reacts to that, and the capability to interfere and have some control over the behavior of the network. So that was from the 5G perspective, from the communication perspective. So where it makes the AI. So in AI, I choose some topics that we know are in the front and made very amazing advances. The first is the data. First of all, who owns the data? Is the data belongs to the consumer, the company, the service provider? Who owns the data? How are we supporting personalization in the age of privacy and security? So 5G introduces a lot of challenges in the security domain. How are we going to face that? And of course, federated learning. How are we going to keep the data to ourselves while still sharing it? So this is a huge challenge, and we are currently studying these topics. Deep learning. Of course, we know that deep learning has made a huge leap in recent years. I don't need to remind you that the importance of that, and we know, for instance, the GPT-3 capabilities, how we can complete or continue a sentence in a way that we never could in the past, but there's an issue. We need, for now, we see that the more is better, so huge data is the king, and only few companies can compete on that. So more data, bigger companies have an advantage, and we hope that the democratization of data trend will keep on, and we'll be able to use the resources that are stored in big data sets. So right now, we see the trend of big budgets for computing and data resources in big companies. Okay, automation and autonomous systems. We see that everywhere. We see that in autonomous cars. We see that in drones. And this trend is getting more and more sophisticated. We are going to see more autonomous systems and semi-autonomous systems, and issues like ethics, biases, representation, and where human being should be involved in such cases is something that we're still dealing with. So where should we intervene? And when we talk about 5G and networking, this is something to keep in mind, where the human being factor should be integrated into the system. And of course, the MLOps. MLOps signifies or present a new way or an indicator for maturity of the machine learning world, where we moved from development to actual operation, like in IT. So maintaining your models, features, pipelines, etc. This is something that we are facing these days. And the last one is explainable AI. So when we talk about especially deep learning, but also in other ways of or techniques of machine learning, we usually want to know why a decision was made, and not just your insurance claim was declined. I want to know why. Maybe I want to dispute that. So explainable AI is something that is in the frontier of the current research, and we want to use that to better understand the decisions that are taking place in autonomous or semi-autonomous systems. And here comes our part of it. AI runs 5G in Amdocs. So in these slides, I present one of the projects that we're working on. This is a quality assurance product in the field of 5G. And we are working on closing the loop, identifying, predicting an anomaly or error in the network by analyzing probe and other data sources in real time. And we are using Amdocs tools to orchestrate and affect the network in order to provide a semi-autonomous behavior before an error or anomaly occurs. And finally, as I said, AI, 5G at Amdocs, this is the place. You're welcome. Thank you.